I decided to turn Frogger into a horror game. Here's how it went. Subscribe if you like it, and like it if you subscribe. The first step was looking up a reference to make sure I got everything right. After watching this riveting gameplay for a while, I got to work on my version. So my idea was that I would just recreate Frogger in first person and then add a monster or something. Yeah, I didn't really plan this one out that much. I wanted to get all the gameplay working before I made the graphics good, so I started by making some basic tiles and mapping out the gameplay area. Then I added a player who can walk around. Since you are a frog, I figured you should be able to jump, so I made it so that you can hold space to charge up a big jump and soar through the air. You can also just tap it for a tiny jump that's completely useless. I also extended the map to be twice as long because I wanted this game to be a challenge. I then got distracted and started thinking about graphics. I wanted the game to have a cel-shaded style, but I wasn't sure how to bad developer. Finish the gameplay first. The next actual step was to add cars that can run you over. I made this object that spawns cars and makes them drive across the road, and placed them so that they would drive in alternating lanes like in the original Frogger. This should have been like the easiest thing ever to program, but I eventually got it right, and yeah, that seems pretty good. The cars aren't much to look at right now, but we'll fix that later. Also, they don't kill you yet. Doing the logs is pretty easy, because I just copied and pasted the cars and lowered them a little bit. After taking a brief cinema break, I made them vary in length and gave them hitboxes so you can stand on them. I wanted the monster to be a natural predator of the frog, so after looking up a list, I decided on a heron, which would tower above you in an ominous way. The gimmick of this monster is that it can't move when you're looking at it. Not very original, I know, but I think it will go well with the frantic gameplay, as you now have to do parkour while also constantly sneaking peeks at the heron. I made the heron follow the player, which was very scary. It also stops when you look at it. In the original game, you have to get your frog to the end 5 times to fill up all 5 endpoints, so I added those to the end of my level as well. Oh, and the cars kill you now. So the game is now playable, but I mean, does this look scary to you? It was time to add graphics. I started by adding the holy trinity of horror games: darkness, fog, flashlights. And yes, just like last time, I spent a long time tweaking values to get everything to look just right. I added textures onto the tiles: grass, road, and water, as well as another classic of the horror genre, pixelated camera. What can I say, it's just so easy to do. I tried for a long time to make this black fog on the borders of the map, but I just could not get it to look right, so I had to settle for black walls instead. I did scatter some trees around to conceal it though. Next, it was time to make the cars look like actual cars. I spent a while modeling an old-fashioned car and made the texture gray so that the color can be randomized when it spawns. After adding the cars, I realized that the player was way too tall, literally taller than the cars, and you are supposed to be a frog after all, so I shrunk the player way down, and this actually added to the scariness a lot. These huge vehicles tower over you on the road, moving fast, and it makes the trip from one side of the map to the other feel very intimidating. Since you're smaller now and move slower, I removed the second half of the map so that it wouldn't take 100 years to get to the end. I also made the cars thick so that there are no spots on the road they don't touch. Next, it was time to make the 3D model for the heron, and I tried, guys. I really tried. Since it turned out to be too hard to make the heron, I decided to change course with the monster. After looking over the list of frog predators again, I decided to go with this little guy, the water shrew. I also changed the gameplay a bit so that instead of one shrew that follows you the whole time, a new shrew gets added with each endpoint you reach, so it goes from 0 to 4. Since a water shrew is basically just a little blob with eyes, he wasn't too hard to model compared to my failed heron attempt. I gave him a fur texture, glowing red eyes, and a nice ratty tail. I had a big brain moment when I spent like 20 minutes working on a running animation and experimenting with different types of leg movement, only to realize that you'll never see him running anyway because he stops when you look at him, so that was a huge waste of time. On the bright side though, our shrew is up and running and he's looking scary. The game was almost finished and the only things left to add were a jump scare, music and sound effects, and a few finishing touches. I made a list of what was left to do and got to work. I was able to find most of the sounds I needed pretty easily, but I had to get creative for some of them. The frog's footsteps is me clapping my hands into the microphone. The jump scare is the combination of several sound effects, including some mouse screams. The frog jumping has 3 different sounds, each more intense than the last, which play depending on how high you jump, and which are sampled from this freaky slime squishing sound effect.
Should I call her?
The shrews breathe heavily, but only when they're moving. It's pretty unnerving when one gets cut off mid-breath to freeze when you look at him.
You got me.
I also gave the player slightly fancier animations for when you drown or get run over. The jump scare for the shrew wasn't too hard to make. He just lights up in red and vibrates in your face a bit. Not my best work, but I had to have this video out by midnight on Sunday and I was running out of time. In Frogger, once you get to an endpoint, a little frog appears there to signify that you've reached it already. I wanted to recreate this in my game, so I found a frog model online, which apparently had so many polygons that my whole program crashed the second I tried to open it. After getting that resolved, I made the model appear on the endpoint so you can tell which ones you've reached already. I threw together a title screen and used this font to make a logo for the game, which by the way I named Amphibian Escape, and I also added maybe the laziest windscreen of all time. After a tiny bit more polish and balance, as well as these tutorial signs so the player knows what's up, the game is finished. As is the game developer's tradition, the final step was to get my friend to play it without knowing anything beforehand. Alright, let's get it.
Alright, let's go. Alright. Beware the shrews are angry. Oh! Oh, shoot. Okay, I gotta lock in here. Oh, yes, sir. Now on the log part. Oh, shoot! Okay. Okay, good, I'm good. Oh! Hello? Oh my god! Okay. Oh! Oh! Wait, what? I heard it breathing. Does he follow? It's not like he follows me when I'm not looking. Oh, maybe I have to like speed. Oh. Oh! Oh my. Dude. Oh, dude. The breathing. Oh, there's two now. Oh, the breathing is terrifying. Bro's following me to the river. No.
He scared you off the edge.
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So they don't come for you if you keep looking at them for a while. Okay, then when he's... Okay, that makes sense. They look so goofy. I love it.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Oh, no.
Oh! Oh, no! Oh, no, they're close again. What will happen?
Come on, jump over him! Oh! Let's go, dude! That was so clutch! Oh my god.
Crazy.
Let's go. GG's.
Alright guys, the game is now uploaded on itch.io, so you can try it if you want. The link will be in the description, and make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content so I can make more content like this in the future. Alright, goodbye.